Alright, welcome back to the garage. Today, what we're going to be doing is figuring out how the heck to install a Hurst competition shifter onto the transmission. No idea what I'm doing, so let's go over the workbench and check it out. Alright, so Hurst shifter. Most of y'all are probably familiar with workbench is a mess, but what else is new? Most of you probably familiar with the Hurst shifter. I think it has this all of them have this kind of classic flat shape and then a kink to it.
Kinky.
And then, you know, nice cool shifter. So this came with, when I bought the car, right? It came with it. It was missing a couple things. It was missing one of the shift rods, so I had to buy a new one of those. I actually think that might be the only thing that was actually missing. But what's really cool about, I guess, what I got was this is the original install kit from whenever the heck it is. I don't know. I think this stuff is kind of neat. So quality product packaged by hand, blah, 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 blah. But then it talks about the warranty. And if you want, talk about how times have changed. If you want warranty, you need to pack your Hurst product carefully in a good carton with plenty of newspapers or Excelsior padding, whatever the heck that is. You need to mail it in. You need to write a letter, paste that letter to the package, and send it to Hurst for repair or warranty. I just thought that was kind of neat. And then I also have the original Competition Plus installation instructions. So what we'll be following is the 302 to 351 CID engines. I know it's a 289, but it same. So we'll ignore all the big block stuff on this side. But I don't know. I just think this stuff is kind of cool. It's pretty neat. You know, that's one of the joys, I guess, of an old vehicle is uncovering stuff like this. You know, from a bygone era, if you will. But anyway, I'm gonna toss y'all on time lapse in a second here and see if I can't figure out how the heck this thing goes together. But hey, if you're it's copyright 1988, so yeah, this is at least of that era. Anyway, you know, if y'all are liking the content, you know, I'd appreciate if you could take a second or two, you know, subscribe to the channel. You know, we're pretty small. This is all funded by myself, to my wife's chagrin sometimes, but I'd really appreciate it. But anyway, that's enough of me shilling for you to subscribe to my channel. Let's go ahead and get this thing installed. So I guess before we go through the install, it might be a decent idea to show you, at least in principle, how this thing works. So you have your actual transmission right here. So that's this section. This era of top loader, and I think of vehicles in general, you'd use the same transmission, but you would have all different tail shafts, right? So they'd have different lengths, therefore you'd have a different output shaft length, but different configurations of transmission mounts, shifter locations, right? Because these transmissions were used in everything from Falcons, Mustangs. They were put behind big block cars, so you know, then Galaxies. I don't know if Galaxies came with a 4-speed, but yeah, cars of that size. So you'd have to be able to adapt. So how this works is you take this adapter plate and literally bolts right here, and then the shifter, oh geez Louise, bolts to the where that plate would go. And then sticks up into your car, right? So not really sophisticated, right? There's no cables or, you know, rods back to the shifter like a lot of modern cars are. And it's not like a T5 where it's actually, the shifter goes into the actual transmission itself. And then over here are this is what actually selects the gears. So you have, I don't remember which gear is which, but you have these little plates that go on here, and let me show you. So they're kind of keyed like that, and it slots over the over that rod, and when you shift, there's actually one of these rods, and I don't know if this is the right one, it probably isn't, but what these rods right here go back to the shifter, and when you shift, it moves this. There you go. So that's how it works in principle. Now, there's a lot of adjustment, right? As you can see on these rods, there's threads, pretty deep. Was that 4 inches or so? You can adjust how far the shifter actually throws with the little stoppers on there. So a lot of fine adjustments. The transmission looks like poopy right now. So what I want to do is I want to get it all installed, make sure it is adjusted properly. And then what I can do is I'll then take it apart, clean up the transmission, get it painted, and make it look pretty decent. But anyway, now on to time lapse. So one of the important things to remember when you're adjusting, I don't know if it's every shifter of this era or just a Hurst, but you see you have 3 arms here, right? And they all operate independently. So the question one naturally asks is, well, Joe, how do you keep it straight and organized when you're going to install it? If you look right here, there's a little hole right there. And you get a little plastic thing right here. So you line those arms up, and you probably can't see that, but this is an alignment dowel. So it just like if you're installing a clutch, right? And you have your alignment rod that goes into the back of the engine to get everything straight. That's exactly what this is. So you leave that in, and now these are actually locked in place. You cannot move them. Now you bolt it onto the engine. So slight aside from the time-lapse mania that is going on, but that's how you get that set before we toss it into the car. Alrighty, folks. Let me turn you a little bit. How's my finger look? Cool. So I got the 3 rods adjusted. This is actually not that difficult. What you do is you actually pop these out of the shift rods, or shift linkage adapter. What are they called? Arm? Hell, I don't know. But you take the rods out, you screw them in until they're about aligned. And then it should slide easily in and out of those little plastic bushings or nylon bushings. Cool. So, it's in neutral. We can shift first, second, third, fourth. Too easy. Reverse is kind of a pain to do, but pull over, reverse is up. So it shifts into all the gears as it should. So everything seems to be adjusted correctly. Next up, I already did one of them, but next up what we're going to do is adjust these stops, right? Because you don't want to be ramming on this thing and overextend, right? Tweak something in the transmission, bend one of your rods, etc. Nobody likes a bent rod. So I already did the 3rd gear. So you go over into 3rd gear, push up, hold it in place. You tighten this until there's contact, and you back it out 1 turn, and then you tighten the jam nut. So the same thing, we'll put it in 4th, we're going to just screw this in right here. And there's contact right there. Back it out a full turn. Tighten this jam nut down. We'll nip that up really quick, and then we'll take our little wrench, toss it on the jam nut, hold the bolt in. There we go. I can word today. Hold the bolt in. There you go. Jammed into place. Cool. So first, second, third, fourth, everything works as it should. Neutral is in here somewhere. There's a lot of there you go. Neutral's right here. Cool. So that is installed. And really that's what I wanted to accomplish. I wanted to get everything lined up as it should. And now I'm going to disassemble the whole flipping thing. But what I can do is I can just undo these two bolts, and then the, pull these off as units. Everything is adjusted as it should. I can clean up the transmission, get it painted, make it look decent. And then I can just put everything back on the transmission and get it ready to toss in the car. So yeah, so that's how you install and adjust a Hurst shifter. I hope everything looks good and hopefully it functions good. We'll see how it goes, but appreciate y'all coming along. Like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc., and I'll see you next time.